These are exciting times in education, and especially in the Owatonna Public Schools. The foundation in traditional learning has served us well over the years, but we believe we can provide more. After close to 2 years of research and feedback, we found 3 possibilities have emerged. 1, to continue with our foundation-only schools, or to provide some additional choices within the Owatonna Public Schools. One of those being Learn by Design, the other, Learn by Investigation. This video is meant to answer some questions that have arisen and show what those 2 possible choices might look like if implemented in the Owatonna Public Schools. The K-8 Explorations Initiative is about educational improvements and providing choice. Throughout this entire process, we've worked hard to be responsive to the information gained through parent and staff surveys. After reviewing the feedback from the most recent K-8 Explorations Implementation Survey, there have been some changes to the K-4 level. This video is meant to explain those changes and give examples of 2 possible choices for our families and students. First of all, in response to our last survey, we have determined that there will not be 4 different focus areas at the K-4 level. All of our K-8 schools will have the foundations of leadership and inquiry, but we heard the parent concerns about having different focus areas at each of our K-4 schools. Since the K-4 focus of Learn by Leadership is met through a solid leadership foundation, and Learn by Wonder is met through an inquiry foundation, only 2 focus areas remain as possible choices for our parents and staff to determine: Learn by Design and Learn by Investigation. Learn by Design is focused on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as visual arts. Learn by Investigation is focused on project-based learning. Since we have yet to implement these focus areas, we have found some examples from other schools to show what these types of learning might look like if we were to offer them here in our Owatonna Public Schools. Let's start with Learn by Design, or that STEM-focused school.
STEM is an education acronym. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. We have a growing number of STEM schools in the Wake County Public School System, and we're at one of them today.
Well, we're making a windmill, and what we're doing is taking different materials and making a blade, and we're using a fan so the blades will move. And what we're doing is we're using that power to see how many washers we can lift.
Come on, baby.
Linda, don't
Come on, baby. It's off. It's off. It's off. It's off.
52.
Ready? Let's try this again.
Let's see.
Now it's working. Oh my God. 10.
Because they had such high interest in getting to that part of the lesson, I think it held their attention when we were just having discussions and looking at posters and copying things down in their notebooks. I think that it still held their interest because they knew that they were going to use that information and need to apply it in the building of their blades for their windmill or their sail. So I think I think they were pretty motivated and pretty excited. They always seemed excited and asked, when are we building something else?
Come on. Let's do it.
One of the keys to a STEM-focused instruction is the integration or combining of subject areas together, especially science, technology, engineering, and math. These subjects are included in other subject areas like reading, writing, physical education, social studies, and really all areas.
STEM instruction is integration. The students are required to know their science knowledge of what catches wind, but then they're also measuring and applying their math skills and collecting data and putting that all together. Using just one, you wouldn't have the complete project. You'd be learning the skills in isolation.
At Brentwood, teachers provide learning activities that are integrated, hands-on, real-world tasks that allow students to take risks, make connections, and apply skills they will need for the future.
Science, math, and technology are integrated into all classes, and the way it's done is a natural fit. For instance, a physical education class may have students use a computer graph to chart their progress. The school's Media Center has an extensive collection of nonfiction books, and digital cameras are routinely used in classroom projects, no matter what the subject.
Inspiring all learners is a key part of the Owatonna Public Schools mission, and a part of inspiring learners is to engage them.
You may have heard the expression, tell me and I forget, show me and I remember, involve me and I understand. That's exactly what inquiry-based learning is all about. It's a hands-on approach that has students asking questions and actively involved in the learning process. Inquiry-based learning has helped many students blossom, awakening their confidence, interest, and self-esteem.
I think that STEM works for every child because it teaches them how to handle anything that they are going to see in life. Any kind of problem that will come up, they have a process for handling it. But throughout that process, they get the opportunity to ask some questions, to imagine what are the possibilities, to create what they're going to do. Then they test it, and then they improve depending on what they need to, whether there's some changes they need to make.
In today's world, science, math, and technology hold the key to the future. Students need a solid base of knowledge, just as they always have. But they also need to know how to get and make sense of all available data to reach the best solution.
Moving on to Learn by Investigation takes us into project-based learning. From what you just saw, there definitely are projects in the Learn by Design or STEM focus, but there are some differences in a project-based learning focused school.
A PBL class, project-based learning, is what PBL stands for. The style of learning is different.
It is in-depth learning into a topic. It's integrated theme instruction. It takes a real-world problem and poses it for children, and then you provide resources for them to research. The culminating piece is some type of project that the kids work on, either independently or in groups or as a whole class.
Because children learn in so many different ways, differentiating activities is very easily done with the particular units. It tends to allow and incorporates many different intelligences and learning styles. Because of the flexibility of projects, perhaps, is the ability to stretch a problem or project for greater learning.
We recognize the uniqueness of our children and encourage them to develop their own special interests and talents. Why should our schools be any different? Each child coming through the classroom door brings unique gifts that he or she may not even recognize yet. It should be the job of school to help identify and nurture those gifts. The best way to do this is to offer students choice. You will see how project-based learning approaches provide that choice, yet there is teacher direction within the activities to make sure all learning targets and standards are met.
In project-based learning, what we like to do is have the students make a lot of decisions on their own.
It's good to give children choices because they have different ways of learning.
Students are absolutely more engaged. It builds so much more background knowledge for the things we're trying to teach them.
It is that kind of experience for them where it really ignites their love to learn. It's kind of self-motivating for children. Any child given a choice of specific kinds of activities will feel self-empowered and in control of their learning.
Within a unit, you're doing all kinds of disciplines all together.
Real-life learning and skills are included in a project-based learning focus. These include such skills as communication, collaboration, and working with our community.
In a PBL classroom, you will see children learning real-world skills, 21st century skills that they can use and apply in the real world. Kindergarten, I teach the children how to perform a presentation. So we learn about public speaking, we learn about what it means to be a good audience.
Seeing them get up and give their presentation that they've been working on for a good period of time.
We encourage community to come into the classroom. They love when people come in and tell them real life experiences.
I really enjoy having the students reflect on what they've worked on. What was the first step? How did we get here? So that's part of the project, the problem. How did we get this map? What were the first steps? A sequence of events is one of our standards, and writing about that. But then also just thinking about what worked well and what didn't.
A question that came up during the K-8 Explorations presentations was why all of these focus areas can't just be included in each school. That is a valid question, yet having too many focus areas can become watered down and lose the kind of synergy that comes with knowing what your school's focus is.
Teachers get together and they collaborate on what projects they're going to do, and they talk about how they're going to use the state standards within the projects. Cooperative groups working together, communicating together, using the language.
Children can really show that they understand something. It's not just, I kind of got it and I passed the test, but the application of the knowledge that they have is so genuine that you can really say, wow, that kid has it. They really understand that concept.
As a school-wide problem-based learning, we can collaborate as a grade level and across grade levels. We can bring in more resources to support each other. Kids can have conversations with all other students. It creates a much more cohesive environment at the school.
All schools within the Owatonna Public Schools have great teaching and learning and will continue to do so. These choices simply provide even more possibilities for our students and families. Just as the Montessori program is a choice within our district and will continue to be a choice, the possibilities of Learn by Design, or STEM, and Learn by Investigation, which is project-based learning, expand choices for families. These kinds of possibilities are happening in other districts near and far, and we believe that the Owatonna Public School District can offer these kinds of choices right within our public school setting. And the decision for which of these focus areas for K-4 grade levels will be based upon parent and staff input. A very important survey will take place this October. This survey will simply ask parents and staff to indicate if you are more interested in our K-4 schools offering a Learn by Design or STEM focus, or a Learn by Investigation, which is project-based learning focus, or having a foundation only, which means having our schools as they are, knowing that leadership and inquiry will be a basis for all schools. Which focus area, if any, and the location of the focus areas will be determined by that survey. Inspiring all learners to excel in a dynamic society while creating an innovative learning environment, making our mission a reality. That's what K-8 Explorations is about.